Hi there, this is Anne-Marie, the Anti-HR HR lady, and welcome to my channel. On this channel, I talk about employee workplace rights. I try to explain how to know and understand your rights, how to recognize when your rights are being violated, and how to assert your rights in the workplace if and when you feel that they're being violated. I want to make sure that employees understand that they have rights at work and they have a right to raise concerns when those rights are violated. I especially want employees of color and particularly Black employees and Black women to understand their workplace rights. If you enjoy this content and this sounds good to you, please hit that like button, please subscribe, and please leave a comment. Thanks for watching. So let's talk about today's topic. Thanks so much to those of you who just watched my live with Dr. Kimani Norrington-Sands. Kimani and I were chatting right after we did the live, and we got to talking about how what are the signs when a manager is actually looking out for your interests versus when they're just looking out for their own interests or their company's interests. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about that so that some of you can see some of these signs a little bit clearer. And as someone who oversaw HR, but also supervised many people in my career, I want to share with you some of the things that I did as a manager to ensure that the people that worked with me left their work with me whenever they left in a better position than when they came to work for me, right? And that's the key, that if a manager is really interested in you and your progress and your well-being in a position, when you leave that position, you should be in a better position than when you came in, financially and career-wise. So that means that you should have been put in a position to learn things, and that you should have been financially rewarded for your knowledge, skills, and abilities, and you should be promoted based on your performance on a regular basis. So if that wasn't happening, that person probably wasn't going to work with me very long. If I saw that a person wasn't able to do the job I hired them for and wasn't teachable, right, I would personally make sure that they positioned themselves to move on to somewhere else, right? But when I had people who worked really hard and were doing their jobs well, I rewarded them by positioning them for professional development, ensuring that they got training to advance and improve their skills. Everybody has gaps. Everybody has something that they could learn. And I would coach people around those things and position them to be trained. And I would promote people. I would give people bonuses. I would recommend people for special awards and bonuses. These are things that managers do when they care about you, right? When they want to see you succeed, even if and no manager should expect you to stay in a job forever. I encouraged people to leave when I felt that they had hit, a plateau, or that they needed to move into another area to be paid even more or to do even better. And I would give people references. I would do everything that I could do to help them move forward and to do better. And when your manager cares about you, that is what they do. Thus, the reason why I'm still friends with many people that used to work with me. Some people worked with me 30 years ago. Some people worked with me 20 years ago. Some people worked with me 5 years ago, right? Because people feel that I was a good manager to them. I was a good mentor to them, that I tried to help them be better, and that I protected them when it was necessary. I didn't throw my people under the bus. That's another sign, right? If your manager cares about you, they are ensuring that you get professional development. They are ensuring that you get promotions when unapplicable. They're putting you up for bonuses, and they don't throw you under the bus. Sometimes I would take the blame for mistakes. Most of the time, I would take the blame. If something went wrong in my department, I wouldn't throw my people under the bus, right? Because sometimes that's what leadership requires, is taking the blame. Even when it's not necessarily your fault, but people make mistakes and people learn from their mistakes. And so if I felt like somebody made a mistake, but it was a mistake that they could learn from, I would let them learn from it. And I wouldn't throw them under the bus, because as I often said to people that worked for me, we are not curing cancer. Nobody's going to die if somebody makes a mistake. So let's figure out how to learn from this and not make the same mistake. We make a different mistake next time, but not the same one. But when you have a manager who wants to just gives you more work, that's not a sign of respect or concern. That's a sign of them putting themselves in a position to look good for themselves. So they have you as the workhorse doing lots and lots of work. But if you're not being credited for that work publicly, if you're not being put up for promotions, if you're not getting bonuses, if you're not getting awards and even being put in for trainings and positioning you to build on the skills that you're reflecting, that manager doesn't care anything about you. Just because a manager lets you call in sick a couple days or gives you a day off doesn't mean they care about you. A lot of these things are in service to them looking good, not necessarily them making you look good. If they're not speaking your name in rooms where you are not present, they are not looking out for you. That is a very important factor as well, is that they should be saying your name in board meetings, in executive management meetings, in staff meetings, right? I would often do that. I would talk about, if somebody credited me for something being done well, I would say, oh, that was so-and-so on my team that did that. And I'll let them know how much you appreciated what they did. They should be speaking your name even when you are not there, so that people start to think of you and associate your name with excellence. That's what a manager that cares about you does. So I really want you all to understand that just because somebody gives you a lot of work to do, don't mean they like you. Just because somebody might give you a day off or something like that, don't mean they like you either. When a manager cares about you, they will position you to advance in the company, and they will make sure that you are compensated for the work that you do. When you leave a job, you should not be making the same amount of money you were making when you got there. And you should be in a position skill-wise and career-wise to advance to the next step. And if your manager didn't position you in that way, then they didn't truly care about your well-being. So I hope this little short video tip is helpful, but I really want you all to understand the difference between what a manager does when they care about you as an employee and what a manager does when they don't, because it's really important. One last thing I'm going to add is, even if you make a mistake or you have performance issues, when a manager actually cares about you addressing those things, they will not write you up and put you on a PIP. They will sit you down and work with you to improve the areas that you need improvement on. They may mention it in an evaluation, but they will also mention what steps are being taken to correct it and that you're working together to address it. They won't use it as they won't use it against you, is what I'm trying to say, right? They won't use it as a weapon. They won't weaponize it, because everybody has something they can work on. Everybody has something they can improve on. When a manager is weaponizing your mistakes, they don't care about you. So that's the last one I want to add. I'm going to go over them one more time. They will look out for you from a professional development, right? So they will make sure that you have an opportunity to learn and to improve your skill set. They will recognize the contributions that you make through bonuses and promotions. They will recognize that your skills, knowledge, and abilities by giving you credit for the work that you do, even in rooms where you are not present. And they will not weaponize your mistakes. And last but not least, they will not throw you under the bus, even when you make a mistake. They'll take a bullet for you when necessary. Those are the things that managers do when they actually care about your well-being. If your manager is not doing these things, they don't care about you in the way that you might think that they do. This is Anne-Marie, the anti-HR HR lady. HR is not your enemy, but they're definitely not your friend, but I am. I'll see you in the next video.